Have you ever noticed how someone can earn a decent salary, do everything right, and still feel like they're going nowhere financially? Not broke, not struggling, but somehow not moving forward either. Let's take a very normal situation. You're 29, living in a mid-sized city in the US or Europe. You earn around $65,000 a year. After taxes, that's roughly $4,000 a month in your account. Nothing extreme, just a solid, respectable income. Your rent takes $1,400. Your car payment is $450. Insurance, utilities, and subscriptions add another $400. Student loan payment, $300. Groceries and basic living, around $500. At this point, you've spent about $3,050. So technically, you still have nearly $1,000 left. And this is where things get interesting, because that remaining $1,000 doesn't feel like extra. It quietly disappears into what most people would call normal life. Eating out a few times a week, upgrading your phone every couple of years, weekend trips, clothes that match your current lifestyle, streaming services you barely notice anymore, the occasional "I deserve this" purchase. Individually, none of these decisions are irresponsible. In fact, they're completely normal. And that's exactly the problem. Because normal spending doesn't feel dangerous. It feels deserved. It feels balanced. It feels reasonable. But when you step back and look at it differently, a pattern starts to emerge. That extra $1,000 a month? That's $12,000 a year. Over 5 years, that's $60,000. And that's before you even consider what that money could have become if it was invested or simply left untouched. But most people never see it that way. Not because they're careless, but because of how the system and their own psychology is structured. There's a concept in behavioral finance called lifestyle anchoring. As your income increases, your definition of normal quietly shifts with it. A $2 coffee becomes a $6 coffee. A used car becomes a financed new one. A simple apartment becomes something slightly nicer. Then slightly nicer again. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because your environment adjusts your expectations without asking for permission. You're not overspending compared to your peers. You're actually doing exactly what everyone else is doing, which means you're also getting the same financial result as everyone else. Stability without progress. The real issue isn't that people spend money, it's that they spend in a way that locks them into fixed monthly obligations. A car payment isn't just $450, it's $450 every month for the next 5 years. That's $27,000 of future income already committed. The same goes for upgraded apartments, financed electronics, subscription ecosystems. Each decision feels small at the moment, but together they quietly remove your flexibility. And flexibility is what creates financial progress. Because once your income is pre-allocated, you're no longer making choices with your money. You're just maintaining a lifestyle. And this is where the difference in thinking starts to show. Financially aware individuals don't necessarily earn dramatically more. They just treat their leftover money differently. They don't see it as spending space. They see it as leverage. Not something to enjoy immediately, but something that can reduce future pressure. While one person upgrades their lifestyle with every raise, another person upgrades their margin. More room to breathe. More room to make decisions later. More room to say no. And over time, that difference compounds quietly. 5 years later, both people might still be earning similar salaries. But one has options, the other has obligations. And from the outside, they can look exactly the same. Same phone, same car, same restaurants. But internally, their financial lives are completely different. One is controlled by their income, the other is slowly gaining control over it. So the question isn't whether your spending is right or wrong. It's whether your version of normal is keeping you in place. Because most financial stagnation doesn't come from bad decisions. It comes from comfortable ones, repeated consistently over time. If this gave you a clearer way to think about your money, you can subscribe for more calm, realistic breakdowns like this.